drive alive, and a third down. They've not been very good this season. They've been much better here today, and that's why they've been able to move the ball and have some of the success that they've had. Dallas, who also is pretty good defensively on third down, but third and long, you know, if the Lions are able to convert here, they will then be in a position to at least come away with a field goal attempt on this possession. You almost might view this as 4-down territory, and if so, that will have a lot to do with what they do here on third down.
Kettner with a pocket, steps up, fires, and the pass is caught by Calvin Johnson. An impressive catch along the sideline to hang on, good for 13.
Well, it really was. You see the hands there. You know, a lot of guys would have let that ball come into their chest a little bit more. You see the type of ability he has and the strength that he has in his hands and his body control. You know, he's a very tall receiver, guy who's 6'5", and yet in talking with Mike Martz and John Kitna, they say he runs routes like he's a guy that runs about 5'10".
Hand off to Duckett. Boy, he has laid the wood to some of these defensive backs trying to come up and tackle him. That was good for 7.
Yeah, he really has, Joe, and you know, I know that with a bigger back like that, and TJ Duckett, who's listed at 255 pounds, probably even a little bit heavier than that, you know, everyone then thinks that, wow, this guy's really a power runner. And I know when he was with Atlanta, I didn't see that. I didn't think that he was a big, you know, tough pounder like we have seen out of him here in this game today.
2nd and 3. Duckett again. Duckett just won't go down, and he picks up another Lion first down. DeMarcus Ware was along for the ride. And a gain of 5. Duckett with 2 big carries there for the Lions.
And I think that this offensive line, again, I don't know that you can overstate, you know, just what it means to them to have the opportunity to run the football. They're doing such a good job of mixing it up and letting these guys come off the ball, fire off the ball, deliver the blow to the Cowboys' defensive front. And then it really helps them when they are asked to get into pass protection.
Toss to Kevin Jones. Brought down from behind. Aiken Adele was in on the tackle, a loss of 1. Brady James gets up clapping his hand. This is a Dallas defense, by the way. It comes into this game ranked 8th in the NFL. Stopping the run 4th best in the league. And tied for 4th in quarterback sacks. But you wouldn't know it with what we've seen so far today. They don't have a sack. And the Lions have been able to run it right over him. DeMarcus Ware circled by Troy as Kitna completes. That's Mike Furry. And he lost a shoe as he gained 6 yards.
Well, Michael Furry, we've talked a little bit about him and what he's meant, you know, to this Lions team and what he did last year, and then to come in this year and be the 4th guy and really take a back seat in his role relative to where he was last year, and to not complain about it. It's, you know, it's a great story, and for him to be as unselfish as what he has been is really remarkable, and now he's getting his chances because of the injury to Roy Williams.
3rd down and 5. Kitna backpedaling as he throws and completes. That's the new Brandon Middleton. He's to the 5, and he's got a big first down. Just added to the roster this week.
Well, John Kitna talked about it this week. The biggest problem for them has been not being able to convert on third down. And, you know, they've done such a great job of it. A good throw. A throw when you're going backwards and then having to get it out on the sidelines with pretty decent coverage. It's a good job by John Kitna getting it where it needed to go.
First reception in the NFL from Middleton. It sets up 1st and goal from the 5. Sets up Kevin Jones. Goes to the 3. DeMarcus Ware on the tackle. Well, you said coming in at the start of the 2nd half, Detroit needed to move the ball on that first possession. They went 3 and out, but the defense did the job. And now the Lions have had great field position all day long because of that defense. Banging on the door again, leading by 6.
Yeah, and this is where they really have struggled a little bit trying to run it inside. Now they got the touchdown because of the push by the offensive line with Jones in the middle of that. It'll be interesting to see what March wants to do here.
Keeps it on the ground with Jones, and Jones in for the touchdown. And it's been a coming out party here today for this offensive line to the Detroit Lions. Whether it's Jones or Duckett behind him, they have had room to run. And when there hasn't been room, Troy, they've done this, lowered their head and plowed on through.
It's just good, tough running by both backs, Kevin Jones, T.J. Duckett, and they're wearing this defensive front down. Actually, the front seven for this Dallas defense.
It's a 13-point game, 27-14, and Greg Ellis trying to wake his defensive teammates up. Jones to the goal line and in. Lions needing a win here today, leading by 13.
There are 380,000 NCAA student athletes. And most of us will go pro.
Most of us will go pro in something other than sports.
In something other than sports. Go to ncaastudent.org to find out how.
Little conference going on over on the sideline for the Dallas defense. They are not playing well, and Detroit is taking it to them. And for the first time, the Lions have 3 rushing touchdowns in one game in over 2 years. 40 games it's been since they've had 3 or more rushing touchdowns. So here we go. Pooch kickoff again, and coming up, Nathan Jones. He's across the 40 and still not down till he's close to the 45-yard line.
I just don't know what they're accomplishing with that kick.
Well, they're so scared to death of trying to cover a conventional kick that in the end they're giving him great field position anyway.
I mean, Devin Hester didn't get traded to Dallas, did he?
No, I don't think he's down there.
Oh, man.
T.J. Duckett thanking that offensive line. What a day for the group up front for the Lions.
NASN Trivia Timeout. What NFL team won the first Super Bowl in 1967? Stay tuned. The answer is coming up.
Yes, it's a glove. It's a baseball glove.
For Wilson gloves and much, much more, visit NASN.com, your home for North American sports merchandise.
The greetings are different. The need to feel welcome is the same. You don't just stay here, you belong.
Just because you're thousands of miles from the nearest big league stadium doesn't mean you can't be a big league fan. Majestic Athletic, the official uniform supplier for all 30 Major League Baseball teams. Available now all over Europe at NASN.com.
Welcome back to NASN Trivia Timeout. Now, the answer. The NFL's Green Bay Packers won the first Super Bowl on January 15, 1967, defeating the AFL's Kansas City Chiefs 35-10.
Look at that comparison between Kitna and Romo. 174 yards for Kitna, which is supported by 133 rushing yards for the Lions. Romo throws. Witten has been busy. Nice move. And Jason Witten has a first down at the Detroit 45-yard line.
You know, and here's why Jason Witten is having such a pretty good day. Watch Terrell Owens. They drop everybody underneath him. I mean, there's four guys that are paying attention to Terrell Owens, and because of that, there's nobody there then to cover Jason Witten. And so he's had just the run of the middle the entire time.
7 catches, 63 yards for Witten. Romo, Marion Barber out of the backfield. And that's an easy 8. Let's go down to Pam Oliver.
Well, Joe, we saw it a minute ago. A very animated Greg Ellis had a great sense of urgency after that Lions touchdown. He personally arranged for that defensive gathering we saw a minute ago. Ellis screamed to his teammates to play together and execute. Defensive coordinator Brian Stewart was more direct. He says, we got to show up. And oh yes, tackle. Back to you.
All right, Pam, thank you. And for Greg Ellis, who's having a career year in his 10th season. Part of a defense that has not done well against the Detroit attack. Out of the shotgun underneath, catch number 8 for Witten, and he's got a first down. And that was an awfully late hit at the very end of the play. Kenoy Kennedy, a gain of 8 and a first down.
Well, you mentioned Greg Ellis. I mean, Greg Ellis is one of the real pros for this Cowboys team, and a guy who over the last couple of years has been frustrated about his role, but you know, Bill Parcells making him an outside linebacker at the end of the day really will prolong his career. And he's probably had his 2 best seasons the past 2 years.
Sean Rogers not in there for Detroit. And Marion Barber carries it, picks up 7. Let's go for a game break. Here's Kurt.
All right, Joe, Giants and Eagles. Eli Manning spots Plexico Burress, who's been playing with that bad ankle all year long, but he gets a 20-yard score there, and it puts the Giants on top for the first time today, 13-10. Joe, Troy, and Pam, take it away.
All right, Kurt, thank you.
You see Sean Rogers there. I mean, these guys have hardly even been on the field today because the offense has been doing so much, and yet he's pretty gassed over on the sidelines.
2nd and 3. Pass to Terrell Owens. Caught it with a smile on his face and picked up another first down for Dallas.
I still think you got to go back, Joe, to the kickoff by Detroit. I mean, when you give the Cowboys the ball on the 44-yard line and then you ask your defense to hold them out of the end zone, I mean, that's hard to do against any offense when they only have to travel 56 yards. You know, and the defense has done a pretty good job. I'm not sure what they're trying to get out of this kickoff, but I don't agree with what they're doing.
Under a minute and a half left in the quarter, and there's Witten again. He's got another first down. I love the way Witten receives the ball. He gets to a spot, turns around, and puts his hands up away from his body and is ready for the ball every time.
Well, and he's such a smart player. He understands how to run routes. He's got good speed. He's got great strength. He's one of the good guys in the locker room, a great leader for this team. And you know, I really believe that he's probably not the best receiving tight end in football. That'd probably go to Antonio Gates or Anthony Gonzalez, but I do think he's the most complete tight end in football.
Kenoy Kennedy is flat on his back and getting attention from the training staff of the Lions. 9 catches for Witten, 82 yards. And now with more career yards than Doug Cosby. And here's a guy who's only in his 5th year. Here is Kenoy Kennedy, number 26, coming in. Actually got tripped as he fell on the pile, and whatever happened to the lower part of his leg happened before he made any contact with Jason Witten.
Yeah, his teammate there. It looks like it's Devontae Edwards who, well, maybe he didn't even make contact either. Maybe just tripped over his own feet. But you're right, Joe. The injury occurred before he ever even got to the pile.
Meanwhile, it's going to be 1st and goal when play resumes, and they're looking at the right knee of Kennedy. So we look ahead to next week with a minute left in this 3rd quarter, and Dallas with a 1st and goal, down by 13. The Packers at the Rams, Falcons and Bucks, Cardinals and Saints. The big game late. It's a doubleheader weekend next weekend. Philadelphia, as we just showed you, they are trailing now at home to the Giants. Will be in Dallas to take on the Cowboys or these Lions out in San Diego.
And the Eagles, I mean, they obviously have had a tough year, but you know, Donovan now playing. If he's able to stay healthy, if they're able to win today, and you know, they've got a chance to at least stretch this thing through the rest of the year with a chance to get into the playoffs. And so from pretty good battles there. It looks like the Giants will probably go in as the first wild card team, but after that, boy, Minnesota and these Detroit Lions, and you know, it's a pretty good race there for that last spot.
1st and goal, toss to Barber, running right. Off the edge, making the play, Greg Blue, who just took the spot of Kenoy Kennedy. No gain.
What a good job by Greg Blue to come in off the bench and then, you know, be aggressive. A lot of times the guy gets in and he's in there on his first play and he's a little tentative. You know, Blue comes right up and meets Barber before he's able to really make that cut to get underneath him.
2nd and goal. Romo, Barber, Blue again. Old Greg Blue sticking his nose right in there, and he saved a touchdown. 3rd and goal, and that's the end of the 3rd quarter.
We haven't seen anybody do that to Marion Barber all season long, and Greg Blue comes in his first 2 plays, and he just stops Marion Barber cold.
Back after this from your local Fox station.
The hard-hitting action of American football continues on NASN, the home of the NFL. It's crunch time with the playoffs getting closer. Every game is critical in the hunt to advance. And this week, we feature the 2 top teams in each conference. The hard-hitting action continues with the 2nd game of our Sunday doubleheader, with a titanic battle of elite clubs when the Pittsburgh Steelers take on the New England Patriots. The NFL on NASN, live next.
Druids Glen Golf Resort, voted European Golf Resort of the Year 2005. A golfer's paradise in the Garden of Ireland. 2 championship golf courses of contrasting design. The luxurious Marriott Druids Glen Hotel and Country Club, featuring 148 specially appointed guest rooms and a magnificent spa and health centre. Visit our driving range, pro shops, golf academy, and get your golfing tips or tuition from our resident PGA teaching professional.
Come in. Looks like the med school scouts are out early today.
There are over 380,000 NCAA student athletes, and just about all of them will be going pro in something other than sports. Download the guide for college-bound students at ncaa.student.org.
Look at the injured knee of Kenoy Kennedy along the sideline. Greg Blue has come off the bench, made 2 good tackles on Marion Barber. Not easy to do. Last time held him out of the end zone. It's 3rd and goal.
Yeah, normally you'd say this is a passing down, but you know, we've seen Jason Garrett, as offensive coordinator, run some draws. They've got Barber in the backfield, so they could hand him the ball here.
Even the quarterback draw in play on 3rd and goal. Romo drops it off. Marion Barber won't get there. Alexander made the play. And it's now 4th and goal with the ball at the 2.
Well, it's a good job by Tony Romo getting the ball out when he had pressure, and then a great job by Detroit being able to make the tackle. You know, and Wade Phillips making the decision to go for it here on 4th down.
They place it down just outside the 1. It's 4th and goal. Cowboys down by 13. Barber walks in untouched on 4th and goal. Nobody laid a hand on him, or if they did, they patted him on the back on his way by. Touchdown on 4th and goal, and the Cowboys made it look easy.
Yeah, watch the lane that he's given right there. A pretty easy run. And you saw Corey Redding had a chance there. Corey Redding got through. He was off balance. If he had been able to stay balanced, he might have been able to tackle Marion Barber and not allow him to get in, but he was off balance and an easy touchdown.
By the way, Tony Romo, who during the Green Bay week went out of his way to say Nicholas was his hero growing up, not Brett Favre. Look at Brett Favre Jr. here. A little flip. Marion Barber into the end zone. And Wade Phillips on the sideline has watched his team climb to within 6.
Flying under the radar as the 2006 season started, Frank Gore was not the focal point of opposing defenses. But as the 06 season finished, everyone noticed his talent. Amassing over 1,600 yards on the ground, Gore led the NFC in rushing, while his 2,180 combined yards set a new franchise record. The 49ers' best offensive weapon is a player that teams will have to pay attention to.
Is this the year the Cup comes to Buffalo?
To Carolina?
To Pittsburgh?
Is this the year someone scores 50 and 38?
And 37? And 36? Is this the year someone scores 200 points?
Is this the year kids start taping their sticks like Stahl?
Is this the year someone scores 93?
Is this the year a forward becomes unstoppable?
Is this the year a goalie stops everything?
Is this the year we finally figure out who's Dad's favorite?
Is this the year? Is this the year?
Этот год? Is this the year?
Is this the year?
Spend your holidays with us right here on NASN. The NFL regular season comes to an end with the league's top teams vying for playoff berths.
Pass into the end zone and is caught for the touchdown.
We've got 15 bowl games leading to every BCS game live in January.
Touchdown, Ohio State.
And ring in the new year with a special live NHL doubleheader.
Scores!
The holidays have never looked brighter on NASN.
Marion Barber pounds it in from the 1-yard line. 10-play drive, and it came at the right time for Dallas. They make it a 6-point game, and now it's up to this Dallas defense on their side to stiffen up and do something while Detroit tries to play keep away. First minute of the 4th quarter. Kaysen on the return from near his own end zone. Out across the 30 to the 35. Jock Reeves on the tackle. Merry Christmas.
I'll trade you a Red Sox home jersey and a Rangers t-shirt for that Pirates jacket.
No way. I want that Cardinals hoodie and that Braves away uniform and an item to be named later.
You drive a hard bargain.
Majestic Athletic, the official uniform supplier for all 30 Major League Baseball teams. Available now all over Europe at NASN.com.
In the soggiest Super Bowl ever, the Indianapolis Colts and the Chicago Bears faced off on a wet and wild Sunday in Miami, Florida. The Bears got on the fast track first when rookie Devin Hester returned the opening kickoff 92 yards for a touchdown. The Colts kept pace after quarterback Peyton Manning spotted a wide-open Reggie Wayne for a 47-yard score. The Bears responded and took a 14-6 lead on a short touchdown pass to Muhsin Muhammad. But from that point on, it was all Indianapolis. Colts running backs combined for almost 200 yards rushing, and the defense forced 5 turnovers. In the fourth quarter, when Kelvin Hayden returned an interception 56 yards for a touchdown, it was over. The Colts became Super Bowl champions by a score of 29-17.
Here's a look at the offensive line and their work today. 133 yards on the ground. They're dead last in the NFL, averaging 77 per game coming in. They've not allowed a sack. 51 sacks, most in the NFL allowed at the start of the day. They protect Kitna, who goes to the sideline and completes to McDonald. A sliding catch for 13 yards.
You see John Kitna on that last play. He comes out, fakes a pass, then fakes a run, and then still drops back and is able to get the ball out on the sideline to Sean McDonald. You know, by the Cowboys going in for the touchdown there, what they basically said to the Lions was this is going to be a 60-minute ball game.
Here's Jones. Kevin Jones inside the 35. Hamlin on the stop. An 18-yard run.
And the Lions, based on how they're playing here on this possession, they're okay with that. They're okay going toe-to-toe with this Cowboys team. And now they're moving the ball on this possession. And again, a good job by this offensive line. Kevin Jones getting into a rhythm. And as I said earlier in the game, you know, when he's had less than 15 carries, he's obviously not been very effective as far as his yard per carry average. When he gets over 15, he's very effective. And he, like most backs, what that points out is that he gets better the more times he gets the ball.
Lions are already inside field goal range for Hansen. T.J. Duckett carries it. Brady James off the edge makes the stop. So much for all these threats and everything that was said by the Cowboys defense in response to the stuff that Kitna said at the end of last year. They cannot get to John Kitna.
Yeah, and you know, and it's not from a lack of trying either. You know, of course, they're not going to bring Terrence Newman off the edge too many times, but you know, I know that DeMarcus Ware and Greg Ellis and these others coming into this game because of all the sacks the Lions had given up. I mean, I'm sure they were salivating, thinking, hey, we're just going to add to our totals and really have a heck of a game. And for the most part, they really haven't got even near them.
They blitz here. Pass is complete to McHugh. Got plenty of room to run. Lowers his shoulder. Gets an extra 2 against Ken Hamlin and picks up 20.
I just think you got to really be impressed with what Detroit is doing on the offensive side of the ball, because this is a Dallas Cowboys defense that's a good group. I mean, they're much better in pass coverage than what most people think. They're good against the run, and yet the Lions have been able to take the ball and just move it pretty much at will against these guys. They're doing a good job making good decisions. And again, Mike Martz doing a great job of balancing things up.
Kitna, end zone. McDonald was behind the defense, but Kitna under a little pressure had to get rid of it. 2nd and 10. What's at stake? Well, Detroit actually is on the outside now, looking in the wild card chase. That is being led by the Giants, and it brings up another point about the Giants, which we'll get to at some point. Arizona, because of the head-to-head action and what they've done within the conference, there they are in the number 2 spot. And then Detroit, Minnesota, and even though Minnesota took apart Detroit last week, Detroit has the tiebreaker over the Vikings at this point. Calvin Johnson, good tackle. That's Terrence Newman. A gain of 1. It's 3rd down and 9.
It's a great play right there by Terrence Newman. We got a flag on the ground. But Terrence Newman being able to make the tackle here on Calvin Johnson in the open field until everyone could get over and help. That's excellent work.
Delay of game, 81 offense, spiking the football. It'll be 3rd down.
So move it back 5 yards as Calvin Johnson, out of his frustration, did that. And it gets the flag out of the pocket of Jerry Austin. The ball is at the 17. 3rd and 14. So the Lions can get a first down without getting a touchdown. Getting to buy some time. Pass incomplete. Mike Furry, the intended receiver, went out of bounds anyway. Could not have been the first to touch it coming back in. It's 4th down and Hansen on to make it a 9-point game.
And I know that that's frustrating for Detroit because of the fact that, again, they got down inside the 20-yard line into the red zone and have to settle for a field goal. But, you know, if Hansen is able to make this, you know, then they make it a 2-possession game, which then obviously makes things more difficult for the Cowboys.
35-yard try for Hansen, who's 2 for 2 today. Good snap, good hold. The kick is no good. Typically automatic. 8 out of 9 in this range during the season. Pushed it wide right. A 35-yard try. Kitten is frustrated over on the sideline. It's still a 6-point game.
The hard-hitting action of American football continues on NASN, the home of the NFL. It's crunch time with the playoffs getting closer. Every game is critical in the hunt to advance. And this week we feature the 2 top teams in each conference. The hard-hitting action continues with the second game of our Sunday doubleheader with a titanic battle of elite clubs when the Pittsburgh Steelers take on the New England Patriots. The NFL on NASN. Live next.
XGames.com is the year-round online destination for action sports from around the world. We've got the latest vids, bios, photo galleries, and news 24/7, 365. Moto, BMX, skate, rally, surf, and the exclusive home of the X Games. If it happened in the world of action sports, it'll be on XGames.com. Bookmark it and log on early and often. Anytime, any place. XGames.com.
For Wilson baseball gloves and much more, visit NASN.com.
Live NHL continues on NASN with a Hockey Night in Canada doubleheader. After a poor performance in November, Toronto traveled to Montreal, looking to get their season back on track with a win over the Canadiens. Then in the Western Division, Edmonton take on playoff contenders the Canucks. A live Hockey Night in Canada doubleheader this Saturday only on NASN.
Some important numbers there. One of those opportunities where the Lions got a field goal instead of a touchdown. They missed. They're having 1st and goal from the 1. Still leading by 6 are the Lions in what is basically a must-win game. Romo fires, and it is skipped into the receiver, Witten, incomplete. The reason I say that is, as we've said, they're on the outside looking in the wild card chase anyway, as you watch the incompletion to Witten. But beyond that, as we've, that was pretty close.
It was close.
As we've said before, their schedule's not very easy the rest of the way. At San Diego, at home against Kansas City, at Green Bay. No challenge flag from Wade Phillips. It's 2nd and 10. Romo throws. Patrick Creighton hit in stride. Actually inside Detroit territory. A beautiful throw and a 30-yard completion to Patrick Creighton, his 2nd catch of the day.
Perfect throw by Tony Romo. He knew exactly, based on the pre-snap defensive look, that that's where he was going to go with the ball, and put it perfectly in stride to where Patrick Creighton could just keep running and make a pretty easy catch for him.
Longest pass play of the day. 30 yards to Creighton, and now for Romo, his 50th completion of 20 or more yards this season. That leads the NFL. Julius Jones out of the backfield. He didn't want to go out of bounds either. He heads back into danger and picks up 8.
You know, the Cowboys can put so much pressure on a defense, and there's so many weapons, whether it's Creighton or Jason Witten, Terrell Owens. And again, the Lions are so concerned with that and trying to run people underneath them that's why we've seen so many of the dump-off